Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now today's video is what if Naruto is royalty? I hope you guys enjoy. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded to this channel, and that's because a lot of work has been put on my table. I still have my finals, and I promise you this summer I will upload as much videos as I can. But like goal for this video is 100 likes. Please like, subscribe, and share this to your friends, and let's get started with today's video. Before the video starts, I actually have a question. Today will be a beta video. I will be using a text-to-speech instead of actually reading it out loud, because this is actually my first time reading a script out loud for a what if. So in the comments, please tell me if you like the text-to-speech or should I actually read out my script. I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started with today's video.
Part 1. We go to a kingdom far away from the elemental nation. Across the ocean lays a castle surrounded by great walls and small buildings. Inside lays a boy on his desk as the sun would pierce the window, directly on the boy's eyes. He would wake up, using his hand to wipe away the sleep in his eyes. He would see his big bed and the bookshelf, a few chairs around the room, and the door. He would hear the door being knocked on a few times. Sliding out of the chair, he would walk over and open it. Outside the door would be a black-haired woman wearing a maid outfit. "Good morning, Lord Naruto," the maid would say, bowing down as Naruto would wave his hand. "You know, I don't like that kind of stuff." The maid would look up as she would nod, Naruto grabbing the metal plate with food on it. Before closing the door, the maid would speak up again. "Lord Naruto, will you be leaving the castle again?" Naruto would turn around. "Yes. Why shall I tell you, Father?" Naruto would look down, thinking about his opinions. "Sure, it's not like he cares. As you wish." Naruto would close the door and walk back to the desk, placing the food near him. Looking at the papers all over, he would pick one up and read. If the tax has risen again, he would place it back down and open the window as the wind would blow in, pushing some of the papers to the floor. Naruto would smile as the cool breeze would blow his hair. Looking outside, he would see the people of Rebirth. Like the name suggests, roses would be around the kingdom, and a giant field of red would be on the hills. Naruto would look down and smile and see the people walking around to their jobs, schools, or just walking around. Some people would look up to seeing their lord. They would smile and wave to Naruto doing the same. Looking back in his room, he would grab his black jacket and run out of the room. Arriving at the bottom of the castle, he would run into the kingdom. The people would wave at him and greet him with respect. He would do the same and give some money to the people asking for money. Naruto was born to the king of Rebirth, and the youngest out of the 4 children the king has produced. Being the youngest, he would be less loved more than his siblings. He goes out into the city and interacts with the people, unlike his brothers, who stay in the castle and look down on the people. Running through the town, he would arrive at the center with a giant 9-tailed fox statue. Legend has it that a giant fox was walking through, destroying mountains and land as it passed, but soon it got sick and couldn't walk anymore. But soon, a human would help the fox cure it, and in return, the fox created Rebirth. That human was Naruto's great, you get the point. Today would be the day Naruto would become a knight. He had been training for this his entire life. Arriving at the blacksmith, he would wave at the person behind the counter as he would wave back. "Hey Smithy." The blacksmith in the shop would smile and wave back as Naruto would sit down on a chair. "What brought you here today, Lord Naruto?" Naruto would frown. "Why does everyone call me that when I tell them not to?" Naruto would have a tick mark, making Smithy laugh. "Anyways, you know why I am here." Naruto would smile as Smithy would get something under the counter. Pulling it out, he would place it near Naruto. Naruto admired the sword Smithy had placed in front of him. "Like you asked." Naruto would grab the sword and pull it out. The blade would have the same width and length as a katana, but instead of being curved, it would be straight, with the edge being on both sides. "Thanks, Smithy." Naruto would smile, going through his pockets and grabbing the money, about to give it to Smithy, but Smithy would stop him before he could keep the money. "That sword will protect everyone in this kingdom. That's enough for me." Naruto would look at the money he was about to give, then look up, smiling. "You won't regret this. Believe it." Naruto would point to his chest, making Smithy laugh. Naruto would soon leave the blacksmith, running to the forest he regularly trains in. A few hours would pass as the stars would start to shine, and Naruto would look up, wiping the sweat off his head. He would begin to walk to his home. But the closer he got, the more he noticed. Smoke was rising to the top. Seething, Naruto would run as fast as possible, bringing closer the more he feared. Arriving at his home, he would see the building on fire, the people running, and dead bodies littering the floor covered in blood. The rose field destroyed Naruto, feeling the rage would run into the chaos. Arriving in the middle, he would see the knights fighting something off, but he could see it clearly. Next to him, Smithy would grab his great axe and run it. Naruto would do the same. He would see people with red clouds covering their bodies, and doing things he never thought could be real. The knights who would be fighting these people would be killed off. Their healing. Naruto would be in shock. Every member stabbed with a sword would heal, even if limbs were cut off they would attach back. Out of the group, he would see a man with orange hair and weird eyes looking back at him. The rest of the knights would run it. Still, suddenly more orange-haired men would arrive, blowing them away, shooting lasers, and summoning animals as big as a house to crush everything. Everyone was dead. Naruto and Smithy would be the only people left. Run, Naruto, run. Naruto would grit his teeth as he used the sword to push himself up. I made a promise to protect this kingdom. Smithy would smile at Naruto. Everyone escaped. Naruto would smile at the mention that everyone was safe. You have guts. Naruto would point his blade at the orange-haired man. Kill yourself. Suddenly Naruto would be grabbed and pulled to the man. Choking, Naruto would try to get out, but the grip was too firm. He would see the other orange-haired men stab Smithy with the weird black rods that take their energy. No, Naruto would be sent flying, crashing into the fox statue, making it fall on him, crushing his legs. Crying out in pain, he would look up to see the man holding his sword. You fought strong even though you used no chakra. Chakra, what's that? Naruto would think as the man would drive the sword through his chest. Spitting out blood, Naruto's vision would start to get blurry. No pain. It would be the last thing Naruto would hear, before closing his eyes. He would see nothing but black, so this is what death is like. He would hear the kingdom's people, crying, suffering, about to close his eye again. Opening his eyes again, he would see a string, a glowing white string, just floating there. Is it the light? Naruto would reach his hand out to grab it. At first, it was too far away. Only his pointer finger could touch it, but when it did, the string would wrap around Naruto's finger, and soon his entire hand. What? Is this normal? As the line would start to wrap around his arm. Human, Naruto hears. Do you plan on dying? Hearing it again, Naruto thought. Is it a yes? Naruto would shake his head no. I want to live. Protecting the people of this kingdom. After saying this, he would hear a chuckle. Well, lucky you. I have decided that you will become my messenger. Go to the village hidden in the leaves and protect my jailer. Naruto would nod. Closing his eyes, he would feel his body become lighter. Chirp, chirp. Opening his eyes, he would see the blue sky and birds flying by. What happened? Rubbing his head, he would look around. The kingdom, or what used to be a kingdom, was in ruins. Next to him was the sword Smithy gave to him. Smithy. Naruto would stand up and look for the blacksmith he called a friend. Finding his body, he would sit next to it, knowing that he couldn't do anything more. After a few minutes, he would stand back up and pick up Smithy's lifeless body, carrying him to a hill that used to be covered by roses, but was now only covered in blood. Placing Smithy's body in the hole he made, would soon walk back to the broken down castle. Armor, I need armor. Naruto talking to no one in particular. Arriving, he would go through the rumble and soon find the door. Opening it, he would grab armor that could fit him and pick up some books. You did well even though you didn't use chakra. Naruto would remember that orange-haired man saying before he stabbed him. Chakra, Naruto would ask. Walking to the broken library to get some information on this chakra the orange-haired man talked about, he would soon find 3 scrolls. He would find out some spiritual energy that people on the other side of the sea use for combat. Shinobi, Naruto would read out loud. Looking at his right hand, he would see bandages around his arm. Unwrapping them, he would see a symbol of a 9-tailed fox. That's right, the voice in my head told me to go to the village hidden in the leaves. I can assume that the people over there use chakra. Meaning the orange-haired bastard is also there. Naruto would feel rage go through his body as he thought about the orange-haired man. He'll pay. Getting up, Naruto would leave the kingdom behind. His mission was to protect the 9-tailed fox jailer, whatever that means. Arriving at a small town, he would see a few boats going through his pockets. He would feel some gold in there, so he would walk over to one of the sailors and give him money to take him across. The sailor would be confused for a moment, but grabbed the money and boarded the ship with Naruto following. 4 hours had passed since Naruto boarded the vessel, and they finally arrived at the elemental nations. While on the board, Naruto would practice his sword skills and the new chakra he had gained. When the 9-tailed foxes made Naruto his avatar, it unlocked his chakra system. His chakra natures were fire, lighting, and wind. From the scrolls, they were the most offensive chakra natures. Walking for a few minutes, he would get news that the nearest village would be the stone. At first, it was a bit weird for Naruto to understand their languages were similar in some ways, but different in many ways. Still, soon Naruto figured out what they were saying, and thanked the villagers and went on his way. The village is hidden in the stone. One of the great villages in the elemental nations loses in the Third Shinobi War because of the Yellow Flash. Engaging, it was said that he was the fastest man alive. Walking through the village, he noticed that it was like his home. There would be a big building where he assumed the king lived. Walking through the town, people stared at him strangely. His outfit was a bit weird to the people of stone. He wore a black cloak covering his body to his knee and a metal plate covering his chest, fingerless gloves, and a sword on his back. His right arm sleeve was shorted, revealing the bandages wrapped around his arm. What village is he a part of? Naruto would hear. The people of the element nations don't know of a place called Retros, meaning he would need to make up a story. He will go because he was a part of a small clan in the woods, and bandits attacked. That sounded real enough for him, so he would go with it. Arriving at the Tsuchikage tower, he would walk up to the reception desk. As the person behind the desk would stare at him strangely, he would say what he needed. "I would like to talk to your king." The person would stare at him. "You mean Tsuchikage?" Naruto would raise an eyebrow. What kind of name was that? Yes, Naruto, getting behind that name, would nod his head as the person would have a sweat drop. Soon after, she would click a button and say that there was a person here to see him. Naruto waited a few minutes as a guard walked down some stairs and called for Naruto to follow. Following, he would see a good view of the village in the stone. Soon after, he would enter the room in which the king would sit. Sitting in a chair, a small man would look back at him. "He's old," Naruto thought as he got to his knees and bow. The Tsuchikage would raise an eyebrow at his actions, and his granddaughter would laugh, making Naruto sit back up. "What is your business here?" Naruto would tell him his fake stories, which you seemed to believe. "So you are trying to go to Konoha?" Konoha was the name of the village hidden on the leaves. Naruto would nod his head as the Tsuchikage would shake his head. "Well, you are very far away from that village. At best, I think it will take 5 days. Naruto would nod his head and thank him before he left the room. The Tsuchikage would tell him to stop. "Why don't you explore this village for a while? My granddaughter can take you on tour." At the mention of touring some random person, the Tsuchikage's daughter would yell, "What?" Naruto would be confused as the grandparent and granddaughter would argue. "Fine," as she would walk past him. "Follow me." Newbie Naruto would soon follow behind. Eventually, Naruto would get the name of his tour guide, Kurasuchi, her name was. She thought Naruto's name was weird. "Your name is a fish cake." Naruto wouldn't know what that meant, so he didn't mind Kurasuchi laughing at it. In the end, Naruto knew every location in the village. "There now, you know where to go." Kurasuchi would smile, making Naruto smile. Leaving Naruto alone, he would think of what he should do. He could go to the village hidden in the clouds or grass. Going to grass would lead him near Konoha, but he feels like he should get to know what these villages call Jinchuriki. In reality, he was akin to one himself. The next day, he headed to the village hidden in the clouds. So far, the information he had gathered is that there are no kings here, only Kage. Also, not to bow with his knees to the ground. 2 days would pass as he would look around. This place seems more lively than stone, probably because there is more water here. Lucky he didn't go to the village in the sand. Walking around, he noticed a lot of similarities with the stone village, but there seemed to be more people. The village in the cloud was the second most popular village. Walking into the library, he would go to the chakra section. That is also why he came here. He needs to see some jutsu that could help him kill that orange-haired man and protect the Nine-Tails jailer. While reading things about lighting, he would hear someone next to him, turning his eye to see who it was. It would be a tall blonde-haired girl the same or older than himself. Him being only 7. Yes, Naruto lost his kingdom at 7 and became a knight at 7. The girl would look at Naruto and smile. Not knowing what else to do, Naruto would also smile, making the girl blush. Naruto was very popular with the ladies back in the kingdom. He was royalty and had an adorable face, plus the new whisker marks on his cheeks. "Hi, my name is Yujiro." Holding her hand up, Naruto would shake it. "I'm Naruto." The same thing happened as Yujiro talked about fish cake, and then laughed. Naruto was starting to get annoyed. Soon after, Yujiro would start to show Naruto around the village the same way Kurotsuchi did. Along the way, Naruto would meet one of Yujiro's friends, Samui. They would walk around, and soon they would both leave Naruto sitting at the park. He would think that a Jinchuriki's life is not that bad. Yujiro talked about how B was popular with his raps, and how they were held up as heroes for holding back the beast. Why would I have to protect the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki if the village treats them as royalty? Naruto would think. But if he knew what really was out there, he would understand. 1 year had passed and Naruto decided to stay at the Cloud Village for a while. The temperature was nice, and the clouds gave a nice shade. So far, this was the closest place to his kingdom. Now that he thought about it, Smithy said that the people escaped. Does that mean if he went back and found some small village, he would be able to find some of the people, or maybe they made a new kingdom, and if he went back, they would make him king because his father and 3 older brothers died. Did they die though? Every time Naruto closed his eyes, he always remembered the attack on his kingdom, the blood covering his hands. What if he was there faster? What if he never left? All those thoughts clouded Naruto's mind and pushed him forward to becoming stronger. Naruto stayed at Cloud throughout the year. He had learned many new techniques, including clone, replacement, and walking on things with chakra. Surprisingly, he had a lot of chakra, including the Jinchuriki chakra. While training, Yujido, B, or Samui would come help, and they have become close friends. Soon after they started training together, the Reikage would get introduced to Naruto. Being a new Hokage since his father died was very cautious of Naruto. Still, over some time, I learned to trust Naruto. Naruto was offered a cloud headband, but he denied it, saying he had to get another headband for his mission. This would make Yujido and Samui sad that Naruto wouldn't be a part of their village, as they wanted Naruto to be on their team. Yujido or the others don't know what Naruto's mission is. Naruto keeps on talking about it, but never really explains it. Today would be the day Naruto goes out of his first mission. The Cloud Village is currently running out of shinobi to do a C-rank mission, and since Naruto was here, they decided to send him out for one. Of course, I sent Naruto with Yujido, Samui, and B. Their first mission together was to a bandit camp. A few of them were found near the village, and A wants them gone. So B, being the leader since he is the oldest, would send Naruto and Samui together. B and Yujido would go to separate camps since they have Jinchurikis. When Naruto was walking away from the group with Samui, he saw Samui turn around and make an L with her fingers. Confused, he said nothing about it. But he swears he saw a tree caught on blue fire. Naruto and Samui would be sitting on a tree looking down at the bandit camp. Naruto would count the number of bandits currently in the camp, while Samui prepared a plan of action. The plan was simple. Naruto would jump in the middle of the camp, drawing all the bandits' attention, while Naruto fights some of them off. Samui would set explosive tags around the camp, Naruto would leave, and boom. Samui sweat drop at Naruto's idea of a plan, but decides to go along with it. Naruto would suddenly land in the middle of the bandit camp, as all of them would look over see a kid coming out of nowhere. "Hey, where did you come from?" one of the bandits yelled out as Naruto smiled, pulling out his blade. The bandits, seething, will pull out their weapons, machetes, knives, and clubs. Rushing in on the kid, Naruto would smile as he dodged all the attacks. A bandit would swing from the left, trying to cut Naruto's head off, but he would duck under and move past. The bandit would hear a sizzling "Buong." Naruto would smile as the bandit he passed flew in the air. Not that far away from Naruto, he would hear more explosions. Guessing that they came from Yujido and B-Duck. Naruto would hear Samui as he did as she said a kunai would fly by, bedding itself into the bandit's neck, which was about to hit Naruto with his knife. "Thanks, Samui," Naruto would yell, making Samui turn to the side, hiding the blush growing on her face. "You should cover up." Naruto would be confused about what she said. He would see that the knife the bandit tried to use on him had cut a good portion of his shirt, revealing his abs. "Oh, my bad." Naruto would rub the back of his head in embarrassment. At the end of the mission, Naruto would tell the group that he would be moving to Konoha for his mission. This would make the rest asking why he would be heading there. Naruto would explain that the nine-tailed fox told him to take care of his jailer, which would confuse the beast in B and Yujido. The next day Naruto would be standing by the gate as Yujiro, Samui, B, and A would be there to say their goodbyes. "Come on guys, I'm not leaving forever." Naruto would hug all of them, making them smile. Each one of them would give Naruto a present for the farewells. Yujido gave him a blue bracelet. Samui gave him panties, which made all of them surprised and shocked. "What the hell?" Samui Yujido would yell at the top of her lungs, making the rest close their ears. "Joking." "Kinda," Samui said, blushing. B gave him a bag for his stuff, and A gave him weights for his legs and body. He thanked all of his friends and went on his way. Finally, the mission began.